Hello and welcome to How to Play Fantasy Football series. It's Alan Sean from the Fan Pub.
Yeah, we've been asked to update these videos. Obviously, the first time we did them, it was a few years ago, and it was mostly audio. So now you get to actually see us in full HD definition 4K.
And we've got a draft board behind us, so we'll explain a bit how the draft works. Right, we're going to talk about PPR and what it means and how it differs to normal fantasy drafts.
So we start with the title, because that's always the thing.
I mean, PPR means point per reception. So basically, every time one of your players catches a pass, if it's full point PPR, that means he gets 1 full point for every catch he makes. If it's half point, he gets half a point for every catch he makes.
So I guess the first thing people are going to ask you, if you're playing devil's advocate now, is what sort of player should I target?
Well, no, I mean, then let's start with the basics. So you'll still go through a draft. We've got a draft board behind us. We've got a 12-team one here. That's the most used going across. So how the draft works, normally it's a snake draft, and you get a random position, or sometimes a commissioner will do some sort of fun thing to decide who drafts where. But so it starts with, you get your draft position allocated when you enter the room, as you can see there, and it proceeds from team 1 to team 12, depending on how lucky you got. Obviously, if you pick one, you got the choice of the best players. But on the second round, so we go across the top here. So the second round, when it gets to the end, it actually goes reverse for the second round. So it's what called it snakes backwards. So if you pick last, you then get the first pick in the second round, and it keeps snaking that way down the league. So basically, that's all there is different to a normal sort of standard draft is the points per reception. So it gives a bit of
an edge
to wide receivers because they catch a lot more
and
passes.
pass catching running backs is something.
So 3 down backs that catch a lot of passes.
So what kind of things could we add value to for people who are new? So I suppose the first thing is does it make a difference picking early, or does it make a difference picking late? I suppose it does, doesn't it? I mean, if we're being honest, we need to sort of assess those things, don't we?
Yeah, but sometimes you don't get a choice in that. So
yeah, so wherever you land, you just have to make the best of the position you've got. Your advantage if you're picking at the back end of the board like this, as Al said, you might be picking 12th, but you're picking the first pick in the second, so you're pick 12 and pick 13.
And if you're new to this, is this an office league or a friends league, and you're looking to get into it? There are actually rankings called that you can get. If you hear the word ADP, it stands for average draft position. So you can actually download rankings from Fantasy Pros, and it'll tell you the sort of order. You can select PPR, and it'll tell you their ranking, so you know when a player should go in an expert's opinion of where the player should go in the draft. So you're not drafting somebody that'll make you look foolish. You know exactly the sort of player that should be there and when they should be taken. And what I'll do is drop a link to that in the description at the bottom. So that always helps out. Also, I'll drop a link to. We've actually got some what we call PPR sleepers, and these are people you can target late in your drafts, and you can look sneakily good, and people will be very impressed with what you're doing because we've got some that you can draft later down in the draft, that could return good value for you and give you a good chance of winning your league, or at least doing well. And you can impress a few of your mates.
Yeah, if it's a fun and office league, hopefully everybody's of the same kind of ability. And as Al says, if you're in any doubt, use the cheat sheets as they're called, to help you, so you don't feel like you're the mug of your league and you've got a chance.
And so like I say, we'll put our sleepers there as well, and we'll give you every chance to hopefully do well. Obviously, if you got any questions about anything else and how it works, just leave them down in the comments. One other thing we haven't said yet is basically, subscribe to the channel, and there's lots of good content coming out that can help you. We can do player profiles. It depends how much you want to go into it, really.
Yeah, you find it's very addictive. That's what will happen. You'll give it a go the first year, and if you really like it, you'll find yourself really looking at all the players in depth, which is what we try to do on the channel. What are the sort of pros and cons of a snake league? What would you say for a new person? What's the advantage? I guess you know your position and you can work out what to do. Yeah, you can mock it fairly easily.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can go to Fantasy Pros and do a mock draft if you like. I mean, it's not always indicative of how the draft will go in your league, but at least it gives you an idea. You can follow the cheat sheets. You can print them out and then just cross the players off if they've gone. Normally, the software will have some rankings on it as well, but it's best to use a consensus because that's expert opinion of multiple experts that do this for a living, including ourselves. So it's always a good idea to do that.
Yeah, I would also add if it is your first year and it's the first time you're doing it, and maybe you're just dabbling on the internet, then you've got a couple of weeks before the season starts. So use this time just to get familiar with how these things seem to look, the ADPs look, and how the players are generally falling in mock drafts. And then when it comes for your time to draft, you've got the advantage of you've got all the information through the pre-season games, any injuries, any updates on Ezekiel, Gouldian, Melvin Gordon, all these players you wouldn't know about yet, but you're going to find out about them. That's going to help you make your better informed draft decisions. So if you're very new to the hobby, then wait as late as you can before drafting and just get as much information as you can.
And like we say, there's no stupid questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions because, that's how you learn, isn't it? How you get better at anything, really.
All started somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, just leave it in the comments and we'll come back to you and let you know if you're unsure of anything. So, also a good thing to do in any league is check the other scoring just in case there's something weird and wonderful in there. Because, scoring points is how you win the league. So you want to know what you get points for. In this case, it's points per catch. So that does elevate some players up above other ones in other types of leagues.
What might help you is if you look back at some of our mock draft videos where we've actually done some mock drafts, drafting at different positions, you can see the general Fantasy Pro setting at the beginning of those videos. That's generally what you would expect to find in most sort of either, if it's a PPR video, what the scoring would be. And if it differs from that scoring, you should be asking yourself some questions about why. So if it's 6 points per touchdown rather than 4, there's obviously a huge premium for quarterbacks. So you want to think about that. Or if there's a big premium for tight ends, maybe that elevates them. So just, as Al says, ask the questions, have a look around.
Yeah, and if you want to put the point scoring in your league and ask us our advice, then that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, any question, particularly for novices, this is the video to put them on, and don't be afraid to ask any question, and we can always follow it up with another video, hopefully answering your question about the differences. And there are so many questions in fantasy football. We're talking about the most basic thing here, a standard snake draft for 12 teams. That's fairly normal, fairly standard, and PPR is a lot of people like PPR leagues.
And don't be afraid to try it. Okay, it's going to be tough in your first year. You're still learning. We've given you some good tools to use as a judge, and you'll love the game. It's absolutely brilliant. You'll never look back, and hopefully we can help you do well. So if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more good content, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.